Welcome to another episode of I Don't Look Like What I've Been Through with EJayShonte. And I am EJayShonte. And today's therapy session is self. I'll rocks with these queens. Why not? One piece of advice I would offer to any person suffering with mental health issues is to be comfortable with self. I remember when I used to work at the after-school program, and I had run into one of the students who had decided that he didn't want to go to lunch. And he didn't want to go to lunch because he had an extended test, which made him late, which meant he missed eating lunch with all his friends. So he came to my office, and I asked him, why are you coming here instead of going to eat? And he goes, well, all my friends are gone, and I don't want to be sitting in the cafeteria by myself. I was like, bitch, you won't be by yourself. There's a whole cafeteria full of people in there. And he goes, yeah, but I be sitting at my table by myself. And I was like, what's wrong with that? That looked crazy. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It looks like you're sitting by yourself. You taking time to yourself. Are you afraid of sitting by yourself? Do you not know how to sit by yourself? He was like, nah, that just looks stupid. That look crazy. And I was like, I take myself out to eat all the time. I go to movies by myself all the time. And one of the other little girls that was in our office says, Miss Alicia, you go to dinner by yourself? I said, yeah. So you just be sitting at a table by yourself with nobody else there? Yes. It amazed me at the thought that they are uncomfortable or they feel like it's odd to be by themselves in public. I love me. I had to tell them that day. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all not comfortable with sitting with self, you will never be comfortable sitting with anybody in this world. Because at some time in your life, you might be just stuck with self. So you should get to know self. I love going out with self. I love going to the movies with self. When I go to the movies with self, she agree with what I agree with. She don't talk during the movies. She don't need to get up unnecessarily. I ain't got to find nowhere specific for her. Self do exactly what the fuck I want to do. I love taking self out to dinner. She eat what I eat. She be ready to leave when I'm ready to leave. She don't be talking while I'm trying to chew. She ain't interrupting me. I get to read when I take self out to dinner. I love hanging with self. Now, don't get me wrong. It was a little hard in the beginning to get accustomed to sitting by myself in certain public places because you do get to stare sometimes. And I know people are guessing why you're sitting there by yourself. I get it. But I be so in tune with myself that I don't be giving a shit about what everybody else is thinking or looking at or even perceiving what I'm doing there by myself. Now, mind you, when I go out in public, sometimes I do act a little special. And so I do understand why sometimes people are looking at me a little odd when I am out to self. Like when I go to the zoos and stuff like that. I don't really like animals, but that's just kind of a reflection time. And Orlando got some really cool ass like zoo themed kind of places around here. So I love going there. I just don't like the atmosphere of the animals and shit that be out there. Because these wildlives out there act kind of crazy. So I do look kind of weird sometimes when I'm by myself and kind of avoiding certain things or reacting to a certain animal or something that then walked up to me. But other than that, I love hanging with self to the point where don't think I'm crazy, personalities. I'm going to say personalities. I have personalities that I use to accommodate where I am or where I'm going. And I'm being really careful about the words that I use because I don't want to come off as this girl just batshit crazy. She don't know what she's talking about. I'm not batshit crazy, I promise. Okay, I am batshit crazy, but not in the sense of these personalities like multi-personality disorder or anything like that. No, this is in a sense of when I go out into the world and I do things by myself or I'm with a certain group of people, yes, there is an identity that I take upon that helps me adapt to wherever I am. Now, this does not just come out of craziness, though. Let me tell you the story behind why I initially started creating personalities once I learned to start hanging with self. So, many of us grew up with nicknames. Mine is Puddin', and specifically from my auntie Sheila and my cousins Shamika, Marissa, and Whitney, and Uncle Ronald in Iowa. They call me Puddin' Pops. They are the only one in this world that call me Puddin' Pops. If somebody say Puddin' Pops, I know it's them that's looking for me. But other than that, I'm Puddin', EJayShonte, E. There are all kind of, now those are just like my normal like nicknames that I get on a day-to-day basis, you know, interacting with people that know me. But they also know when I start traveling, or if I get in a certain atmosphere, there's some personalities that I have literally named and literally turned into because it has to fit where I am, and it's a way of me making sure that the true EJayShonte Ford is okay when she is done with whatever she's doing. Okay, let me explain. Okay, so the reason that I came up with these identities actually became an issue when I went out of town early in my early 20s. You guys remember Freaknik back in Atlanta? I think they still actually do the Freaknik, but back in the day when they did the Freaknik back in the 90s, it was really wild. Like, we would go to Atlanta, there was this big giant outside door picnic, and we wore booty shorts, and we wore matching outfits, and just all kind of stuff. And at that time, I was with the kid's father, and I had gone to Freaknik with a bunch of my friends. We went to Freaknik, and I'm talking about it was jumping. Me and my girls was having a ball. We out there, we hanging out, but we was also being hot girls. Now, mind you, I did not cheat on my significant other, but I was out there doing stuff that I know he would not have approved of had he seen. You know, the booty shaking, you know, kind of walking with dudes and, you know, kind of hanging with them. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was linked up with their little arms and stuff, walking with the dudes that we chose or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. Well, anyway, one day we was all out there. I think it was the second day of the Freaknik, and we was all out there dancing and having a good time. And back in the day, they had all these like drop top cars with these big giant gold rims, and they used to lift up and bounce up and down and all this other kind of stuff. Y'all have seen that stuff, you know, from way back when. Well, anyway, we had hooked up with these dudes that had like all these, you know, fat gold chains and all this stuff, and they was hanging out drinking and smoking and having a good time. So we wanted to hang with them because they was the livest ones out there, and it was about me and maybe 4 or 5 of my other girls. So the song comes on by Uncle Luke, 2 Live Crew, Doodoo Brown. Oh my God, it was bumping. We was in there like, oh my God, it's 2 Live Crew. What's up with that shit? You know, we jumped up. Everybody, we out there butterflying and shit out there. We out there tearing the club up. Anyway, you know, he was like, you want to get on top of my car and dance with the rest of the girls? And I'm like, yeah. So I jumped on top of his car, kicked my shoes off, because, you know, you can't mess with that paint job. We was kicking off our shoes, and it was just like rows of girls on top of the car. We dancing, we shaking it and all that other kind of stuff. We had a great time. Okay, Freaknik's over. We all go home. I'm going to say about 2, maybe 3 weeks later after that, I'm at the mall with baby daddy and baby girl. And he's picking out her some diamond earrings that he wanted her to have. I don't know what was coming up. He used to buy jerky shit for no reason at all. Just all the time. He just loved to shop for her. So anyway, he was in there buying diamond earrings for Jerick. We was at like one of those little kiosks in the middle of Lafayette Square Mall. Well, as we're standing in Lafayette Square Mall, I hear, Elisha, like this dude is calling me from down the end of the hallway, and I'm like, huh? What? And he looks at me. So now, mind you, I'm on one side of the kiosk, and my baby daddy is on the other side of the kiosk with Jerica. And so when I hear my name, I look up, look down, and I can't really see, but I see there's a guy with these sagging pants. He kind of holding his pants up, kind of walking towards me. And my baby daddy look up at me across the kiosk, and I'm looking like, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. So then I like kind of, blow it off. Elisha. And I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? So he gets closer to me or whatever, and then he starts talking. As he comes closer to me, of course, my baby daddy is starting to walk around the corner with Jerica, like, what the fuck is going on here? So he goes up, look, what's up, little mama? You remember me? And I'm like, no, dude, who are you? And he's like, oh, you remember me? We was at the Freaknik. I let you dance on top of my car. Me and my boys came down here to kind of, see what's going on. Like, oh my God. No, this is not happening to me right now. My face is hot. My chest is hot. My whole body is like just warm. I'm terrified at this point. Like, holy shit. So, of course, I'm gonna play dumb. I mean, it was a one-day meeting. Like, there's no way you could just absolutely remember that it was me. My hair color wasn't even the same no more. I had blue hair when we did down there. At this point, I think I had a whole platinum blonde wig on or some shit like that. But anyway, I'm gonna deny, because I'm not gonna get caught up in no Lafayette Square Mall over no nigga that I just was hanging with for like a day down in another city and state. I just denied. Oh man, you got me messed up with somebody else. I don't know what you're talking about. I was down there or whatever, but I wasn't even on that street. I just blew it off, and he was like, man, I swear it was you. I swear. No, sorry, sweetie, it wasn't me. Anyway, we walked off. My baby daddy, I was gonna say husband, because he eventually did become my husband, was like, you sure it wasn't you? I'm like, damn, yeah, I'm sure it wasn't me. Why would you think I'll be out of town acting like that? You know me better than that. Lying my ass off. But from that moment forward, I knew then. I was like, never again. I will never get in that situation again. Hence, Mahogany Alizé Jenkins was created. So now, I have a plethora. I ain't gonna say plethora. There's like 4 or 5 specific personalities that I use when I go out. And I'm not using them to pretend or to deceive anybody. I just feel like Alicia is the conservative business part of me that has to handle business and do the things that she needs to do to take care of rent and bills and her business and handle her husband and her family and make sure shit is right. But being serious all the time is not my thing. I like to have fun. So I have to know when the time is right and appropriate, and make sure when the time is right and appropriate, whatever I do when I am at that time, which does not include cheating, doing anything deceptive, stealing, anything illegal, just being outside the character of Alicia to keep my sanity so that it separates from my personal life when it comes to business versus my fun life when it comes to me having a good time. So anyway, Mahogany was created from there. So from there, Mahogany is the party girl. Mahogany goes out. She is the turn up queen. That is the personality that I have when I went to my daughter's college and hung out with her and her friends. That is the personality I have when I go to the clubs with my girls, like Beach them downtown in Orlando. I am Mahogany Alizé Jenkins, and she is just ghetto, and I just love her personality. She is fun, but she's only used to party. So that way, I don't drink anymore because, my medications, but, still when I go out, my regular personality is live. So I use her when I go out and have a good time. Second one is Yaharia Caldazar Brodus. Now, she was born in Florida. Now, what's funny about this name is nobody realizes is the last name is really Snoop Dogg's government middle and last name. So I just use that name to kind of sound exotic. I don't know if I got whole storylines for each of these personalities. This one went to spell me. Her daddy is rich. I'm not married. I got no kids. I'm a little bougie with this one. This is the one I use mostly in Miami because I like to let them think that I'm, 50% Dominican or some shit like that. So, because there's a lot of Hispanics down there and they love that culture kind of thing. I can't speak Spanish at all. Thank God they don't never try to talk to me in Spanish. But it's so much fun. I'm a little more reserved as Yaya. That's what I call her when I get down to Miami. I'm Yaya when I get to Miami. Then, of course, there is